Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the Football Terrace. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Some updates regarding Manchester United. It's thick and it is fast, and I would expect that for the next 4 days. Between now and Thursday, the close of the transfer window, when it comes to Man United, when it comes to Tottenham, when it comes to Arsenal, there is going to be a lot of news surrounding these teams. We are going to try to bring you every single piece of breaking news and breaking information that we can, because the most important thing for us is, with this community that we have built, with this group that we've brought together, you the viewers and ourselves here at the Football Terrace, the most important thing for us to do is to continue to have as much dialogue as possible with you, to gauge your viewpoints and opinions on what's going on, and also check to check the kind of authenticity of these stories that are coming out. I was trying to find the right word there, because there is a lot of information. And as we say, right now we're going to talk about Bruno Fernandes, we're going to talk about Mario Mandzukic, we're going to talk about Harry Maguire. There are a number of things to touch on. But I think it's really important to kind of validate and authenticate the right transfer stories, and talk about what we think is real, what we think is not, what we think sounds too far-fetched, as an example. And that's what we're all about here at the Football Terrace. I'm going to go through your live comments as well, because I want to know what you think and what you feel about these situations. But do me a big favour before that. Please smash the like button. Hit that share button as well. It's the very best way that you can support us here at the Football Terrace. And a massive shout out as well to our title sponsors, the Football Index. Huge uptake from you guys over the past couple of days. We had an email from the Football Index this morning thanking us for the work that we are doing, and lots of you building some exciting portfolios as well, especially of young up-and-coming players. So quite a few of you following suit of us here at the Football Terrace. If you want to get involved in the football stock market, you do need to be over the age of 18 and reside in the UK. But using our promo code Football Terrace and our exclusive link, which is in the description below, you can download the app and crack on with what you are doing. So the first part of our title today is talking about Man United signing and announcing a player today. And we all know who that is. That is Harry Maguire. Reports have suggested, due to the news that came out last night about the Dybala deal being dead in the water, Man United delayed the release of signing the player. There are, of course, the other rumours as well that United are going to wait for the New York Stock Exchange to open before they announce it, which was, around 2 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So I would expect within the next 3 to 4 hours that to come out. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about Harry Maguire, and I would implore Manchester United fans to forget the midfield issues for a moment, forget the Dybala situation for a moment, and focus purely on the fact that we are about to sign one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League, a guy that's going to prove himself to be one of the best in Europe, with many, many years in front of him, who is hungry, desperate, and has a huge desire to come and play for our great football club. Forget the transfer fee, forget what rivals are saying, simply enjoy the fact that we are going to concede, I would easily say, 30%, 35% less goals this season than we did last year. And I'm not even, you've got to remember as well, on his side of the pitch, you're also going to have Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who I think is the best defensive right-back in the Premier League at such a fledgling age. This signing is going to be announced today. I really want to gauge this point. Like, forget the money for a moment. How much is Maguire going to improve the Man United team? I would love to know that from you. A live comment here from Luke actually says, Maguire may be a great player, but for United, but he can't get a good partner, then he's in a bad position. Luke, I think he has a good partner in Victor Lindelof. I think what Victor Lindelof needs is a superior player next to him. I really feel that. Another thing that Maguire has is leadership qualities, and he'll do that. And if you heard what Pep Guardiola said, if you listen to what Pep Guardiola said, Harry Maguire is a top-class player. The only reason they walked away is because they couldn't afford him. Leicester wanted big, big money. They said they couldn't afford it. But he's praised the player. He's told us how wonderful and how good he is. And if Pep Guardiola rates you, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. It really, really is. There's a comment here from Samson B. It says that back four is the best in the league all of a sudden. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or if you mean that. I would say no. I don't think this is the best defence in the league. That will only be proven over the course of the next season or two. Does it have the potential to improve greatly and become one of the best? Absolutely. Absolutely. If we get an extra 10 to 15% improvement again from Shaw and Lindelof, which I think is plausible, if Harry Maguire not only does a great job but has that ability to elevate the defence in the same way Van Dijk did at Liverpool, and of course AWB, no one's getting past him this year, and I'm being a little bit, I'm being a little bit sort of facetious when I say that. Not very many people are going to get past AWB. And you have that with one of the best goalkeepers in the world behind them. It's an astonishingly good, brilliant back line, there is no doubt. And anybody who's denying the potential of it is deluded, angry, salty, or just plain bitter. So let them crack on. Let them crack on. Coca-Cola and tacos, good morning to you in Minnesota. Hello, hello, hello. Let's talk about Bruno Fernandes. JC's comment there live says we're not getting Bruno. And that may very well be the case. Maybe he goes to Tottenham. I do think he's leaving Sporting Lisbon. It's the second game in the row he's pretty much been in tears on the field. I understand completely that yesterday's game, after getting slapped 5-0 by Benfica, may also have played a large part in the emotions going through him. But I do think that Bruno Fernandes is going to leave. Where this becomes so difficult is you have credible journalists like Simon Stone saying United have never been in for him. You've got people like Fabrizio Romano that have said United are interested. A deal was closed a few days ago, but the player's deciding on where he wants to go next. And then we have other outlets across Portugal, okay, that are telling us that today is the day. Man United are going to seize the opportunity and they're going to go after Bruno Fernandes. They're going to make a £64 million bid. The player is sitting there ready and waiting to go to England to negotiate his contract, etc., etc., etc. We are literally being pulled in three different directions. One that make Man United the front runners, another that says we've never been involved, and then a third option where you've got Real Madrid, United, Tottenham all vying for that player. And all three sources are telling us something different. And it comes down to one thing. Which of these sources you believe? Which of these sources you think is most credible and the most viable option for us to listen to? And everybody's going to have a different viewpoint and opinion. Everybody's going to think and feel differently about this. Rihanna here says, stop lying, man. Listen, you go check what Fabrizio Romano has said, what Simon Stone has said. If you go and just literally go onto Twitter or the internet now and type in Bruno Fernandes and read through the stories circulating, those are the three things. If you haven't got the ability, brain power to be able to do that, there we go. It wasn't Romano, it was Damasio. If it was Damasio, fine. What I'm saying is I've seen people tweeting Fabrizio Romano asking for Bruno Fernandes updates, and he's responded to 2 or 3 people saying there isn't any. He's still deciding on which club he wants to join. And we know what the 3 clubs involved are in the race for him. That's my point. I know Damasio come out and said the deal was close, but they work for the same publication. They're very, very well connected and close together. But to be honest, Terry, Simon Stone was wrong before. Of course Simon Stone can be wrong. I'm not saying he's right. The point is it's down to you guys to make up your opinions. And what I do love, I'm really, really proud of some of my viewers actually as well, and thankful because I get so many comments from people saying, why are you making up lies? Why are you making up these stories? Rare. But it was really nice to see quite a few of you in the comment sections defending what we do here on the Football Terrace, basically pointing out that I pick up the media stories and we discuss the validity of them, the authenticity of them, and we debate which we think is right or wrong. And everybody's got an ability to come and have their say. So thank you very much for doing that. I know some people do it to be salty and some do it because they're trying to trigger people. But there are some there are genuinely some idiots out there that believe that YouTubers, myself or Mark or Housen, we're the ones who are getting this information and we are running these stories as if they are our own. Anyone who thinks that as well is like, can you imagine not listening and then spout? Well, actually, you can imagine it. It happens all the time. The amount of people that spout opinions on subject matters that they do not research or they don't even listen to. I'm going to attack Joe Blogs because of what he said. Did you listen to what he said? Oh, I listened to 2 lines. Well, then you don't get to have an opinion on something if you haven't studied the subject matter. Anyway, before we jump in and go any further, please do us a big favour. Smash that like button. please hit that share button as well. We're sitting on 77 likes. There's nearly 1,300 people tuning in. If you all hit that like button now, we'll soar past that 200 mark easy in the next few moments. A few people asking here for recaps. So we've just spoken about Bruno Fernandes and the fact that the fact that there's almost a three-way tussle between groups of journalists around what's actually happening. Some saying United are not interested, others believe that it's going to happen today, and a third group that are saying there's 2 or 3 clubs involved. Go do your research, read between the lines, and formulate your own opinions and free thought on that. The other side of it, Man United are set to announce a signing today. That is going to be the top class, the wonderful man, the big slab head himself, Harry Maguire. I want to know your thoughts and feelings on that. Finally, Mandzukic. Again, that's just it's a story that's kind of going under the radar a little bit. It's a story that's kind of, it's circulating, it isn't going away. It's another player that they think could be announced today, if not early parts of tomorrow. I'm very much in two minds about it. I really am. I'm unsure. I'm just unsure about it. And the reason I say that is I think Mandzukic is a quality player. I'm not worried about his age. I'm not worried about his wages. I'm not worried about any of that. My slight concern is I really want to see the likes of Greenwood and Chongi given game time and opportunities this year. And I'm not sure if signing him, how will it hinder it. Having said that, I was quite up for the Dybala signing. Maybe that's because Dybala was that secondary striker who played in that hole, which I don't really think is Greenwood's game. It's not Rashford's game. It's not Martial's game. It was kind of a different position. When Mandzukic would be a striker, he can only play centrally. So what does that mean for the likes of Greenwood and Rashford? I think that Anthony Martial will be the mainstay. I think Anthony Martial will be the number. It doesn't matter if he's got it on his back or not. He'll play in the number 9 position. But there we go. Elliot here says Simon Stone is the mouthpiece of Manchester United. If they told him they were never in for Bruno Fernandes, then probably have pulled out. Yeah, maybe. A few people have said that about Simon Stone, that he is that kind of unofficial. He's basically the unofficial press officer of the football club. And if they want to release a PR message that people will believe because it's not directly from them, you go to Simon Stone. Some people believe that about him. I'm not sure if that's a little bit, some people believe Simon Stone is how Man United push their PR and propaganda when they want us to believe something. So rather than saying we missed out on Bruno Fernandes, if we can convince the public, if we can convince the fans that we were never in for him, that kind of works for some people, I suppose. We need Bruno, Savic and Ben Yedder. Yeah, look, I'd love all 3 of those players to come to the club. I don't know how plausible that is, how doable that is. And I think that's what you have to consider in all these situations is how doable, how plausible is it to get these things done. There is no maybe. Simon Stone is right. Sorry, is right. You aren't right. He's more accurate than you. So he says it's not happening, then it ain't. I don't claim to be accurate, bruv. I give my opinions on situations, but I'm purely giving an opinion based on what the likes of Simon Stone are telling us, right? I don't think... Okay, cool, bro. Let me just... Okay. I don't come on here and sit here and try and sell you a story. I tell you their story and we all gauge our opinions. I'm really sorry that you don't understand this. But look, I'll let you go back to your colouring books. Make sure you keep the colours in between the lines though, my man, okay? Thank you. All Man United need now is Bruno Fernandes. That is from his Sunday Joseph. A lot of people believe that. They just think, look, I'd be happy if we get Fernandes with Maguire, AWB and Dan James this summer. And Lukaku goes. I want Lukaku to go. If we then get rid of Phil Jones, Smalling or Rojo and Darmian, if we can get rid of 3 of those 5 players I've mentioned and sign Bruno Fernandes, with everything else that's already gone on, it's a good first summer for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We leave with a positive taste in our mouth. And on the Dybala situation, just to cover this off, the more and more I think about it, it's right. He doesn't want to be here. We're absolutely right not to sign him. We only want players that are dying to come and play for this football club. And I'm not talking about, and people try and confuse the issue. I've seen all these people on the internet going, oh, players are professionals. They don't all have a burning desire to play for Manchester United. No, that isn't what's being suggested. What we're talking, when the likes of Aguero and Yaya Toure chose to play for Manchester City, there was always the nonsense of it, and there were some people that did it for the money. I get that, but the majority of them, especially the guys that stayed there for such a long period of time, they didn't have any desire to play for Man City their whole lives until the Sheikh came in and until the idea, the journey, the project was sold to them. And then it was like, oh, I fancy going Man City. I think this could be the right choice for me. And David Silva and Aguero and Toure and company, all these players, they made the right decision. Barring winning the Champions League title, they have been absolutely brilliant. They've won multiple titles and they've made the right decision. And City will just go on from strength to strength now. So I don't necessarily want a player that is dreamed of playing for Man United his whole life like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because there will only be a small percentage that have that within them. I'm talking about people that want to come to Man United and want to be part of Ollie's system. They want to be part of the rebirth. They want to be part of the growth. They feel that, yeah, Man United is where I want to be. I want to help Man United get back to their best. I want to be part of this project and this journey and this redevelopment of the football club on and off the field. You want someone to be bought into that idea, bought into that process. That's what it's not about, oh, I want the badge, the badge, the badge. It plays a part, but it's about being bought into Man United's ideals. And I really, again, people are just so deliberately obtuse and disingenuous and try to act like there's no logic in what's being said. And I sit there and think to myself so regularly, like, how are you missing the point here? How are you missing the point on this? Let's see a few more of your comments here. AWB actually said he wanted to play for Liverpool in an old video. But AWB grew up a Manchester United fan. The opportunity arose to come to Manchester United to be part of this new direction, and he wanted it. He wanted it more than anything else. That's fine. They're a rarity. What you tend to sign are players that, okay, I think Man United's a good step for me. I've listened to what the manager has said. I've listened to what the club have said around what they want from me, the direction they want to go in, and me being part of that. Because money is really important to footballers, and it should be important to them. Trophies mean even more. But above both of those things is legacy and create and kind of inscribing your name in the game forever. And I've said this for a few years now, but the point remains the same. If a Man United team can get themselves back to the peak of the club's powers, that group they will become such household names, cult heroes, and even some of them legends, a lot easier than maybe players before that have had to win 4 or 5 major titles before they were given that accolade. Because it's all about timing. It's all about how you feel. It's all about what you've been through. Look at this current Liverpool squad. If they win the league this year, there'll be Liverpool fans that will hold the likes of Mo Salah and Van Dijk in as high a regard as any other Liverpool legend in the history of the club because of the horrible period of the last 30, barring that one Champions League victory and a couple of good domestic seasons. The last 30 years has been pretty drab for Liverpool by the standards they'd set previous. If they go 2 years running and they win the Champions League final, they get to a Champions League final, they win the Champions League, finish 1 point behind one of the best Premier League teams ever, and then win the Premier League, this group of players become icons. And that, of course, the multi-millions of pounds that they earn is brilliant. The trophies and the celebrating is amazing. But they will literally dine out on this in Liverpool and across the world, because Liverpool are a global club, forever. For absolute ever. Mo Salah will turn up in 30 years, 40 years, 50 years' time at Anfield or a fan park in the middle of Singapore, based there for Liverpool, and he will be serenaded for the rest of his life if he achieves that greatness. And that's something you can sell to players. And this new crop of this new United squad that's going to be built over the next few years, if they can win Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues, they will propel themselves into that kind of ethos and era and that kind of that iconic status within football. And that's all part and parcel of selling the project to people. Can I be part of that? Am I good enough? That goes beyond, I've always wanted to play for Man United. It goes beyond the history of the club and the heritage and old Fergie and Busby Babes and the stadium. It's beyond that. Terry, I know some people dislike you for talking about the transfer issues, but don't give up, bro. Daniel, listen, I appreciate what you're saying. Look, it's never going to faze me. I get people every day come on this platform and say, but when it's transfer stuff, or when I'm doing goal review, or when I'm doing my previews, or whatever kind of show we do, there is always a group that like, this channel's dying, this channel's dead, it's boring, and whatever. I always take feedback. On board, and I always listen to it and read it because I think it's important to. But at the same time, when people tell me my channel's dying, but we've grown by over 37,000 subscribers since the beginning of May, when we're getting such support from our viewers in terms of our Patreon page, people signing up to the Football Index, when I've got people, we've got the Gold Diggers podcast group, the young ladies from there coming onto our show tomorrow. I've had 5 or 6, really good people that we're going to be getting onto the podcast. We haven't even started yet. There are people wanting to collaborate all over the place. The channel keeps growing, 400, 500, 600 new subscribers each and every single day. The feedback pales away, and you have to, when it's negative and it's bitter and it's coming from an angry place, you've got to ignore it, because at the end of the day, if the people that call it clickbait, the people that get angry about it, the people that come out with the nonsense like, oh, why are you making up these lies? They are the minority. Because if it really was those things, there's 2 things I would say. One, we wouldn't keep growing at the same rate. Secondly, that plaque I showed you yesterday that YouTube sent for hitting the 100,000? They do a review of your account, which takes a couple of weeks. And what they're reviewing for is to make sure that, yes, you've gained the 100,000 subscribers. They're checking that you're not a clickbait channel. They're clicking that you're not breaking any rules. They're clicking that you don't over-advertise. They're checking that you have actually stuck to their terms and conditions and their fair use policies, and you're stuck to what it is you're meant to do on YouTube, right? You don't get the plaque. You don't get the verification tick if you've broken any of them rules. So no disrespect, your opinions and negativity surrounding how we title videos, or the kind of content we make, or how I speak, or what we do, it's nonsense, because YouTube have confirmed that you are wrong. So that's all I care about. And I focus on the positive people, and I focus on the positive feedback we get. And sometimes there are really good suggestions, and we do that because we are going to continue to grow. We will hit 250,000 subscribers. We then will hit 500,000, and one day we will hit 1 million subscribers. I've got no doubt about that in my mind. So, like I always say to people, stay positive, keep moving forward, keep educating yourself, keep having goals, keep driving forward, and you'll achieve things in life. Players wanted to play back then because we had the best manager there has ever been, and it was a team that won every year. We have the worst manager in our history and haven't won anything significant for 6 years. To say Ollie's the worst manager in our history is a grossly premature statement to make. If it's your opinion, then fine, fair enough, hold on to it. It does appear to me that you're never going to let go of that. But what I would say to that is, yes, people sign for Fergie and they sign for the glamour of Man United and the success. But when Fergie first came in, we weren't a successful football club, and we were still able to pull off brilliant signings before ever winning Premier League titles, before ever winning anything. We were still able to sign people because the same process was happening then. Oh, I could be part of this rejuvenation. And yes, every so often there was a new manager and another new project. But some people decided, I'm going to be part of this one under Sir Alex Ferguson, and the rest is history. That can't be. Again, learn and research and go back and listen to the older football fans. Go back and read books from those days. Go back and speak to journalists from those days. That's what it was about. There were some footballers that were laughed at for joining Man United in the early Fergie days because United were finished. They hadn't won the league title in decades. They were a shadow of them former selves. Fergie weren't good enough, according to these people. Even Man United fans wanted Fergie out. They couldn't see what he was doing behind the scenes, what they were building, the culture they were creating, the youngsters they were developing. They couldn't see the project. They couldn't see beyond the end of their nose. They were blinded by anger. They were blinded by hatred. They were blinded by their own problems in their own lives, and football was their outlet to express their dissatisfaction with life. It's happening again now. Society is better in many, many ways, but then there are still lots of problems here. There are still angry people that are angry with life, angry with the country, angry with Boris, angry with Theresa May, angry with Brexit, angry with their relationships, their jobs, how they look, how they feel. Football's an outlet for them, and it's an outlet where they can be really, really angry and they can push nonsense, but they forget history. Always happens. Do you think Bruno Fernandes will come to Man United? That's from David Bryant. I truly, truly hope that he will. I truly, truly hope that he will. I think we had a super chat I missed, by the way. I'm going to go back to it and find it. I just found it now. I hope that he does. I hope that he comes to Man United. I'm just not sure. George here with the super chat says, Terry, do you think Bruno will come? Your opinion? I can't with the super chat is the same question. I'm really sorry. As I've said, I really hope he does. I really, deep down to my core, I hope Bruno Fernandes comes. I want him. I want him to be a Manchester United player. As desperately as I wanted Harry Maguire, as desperately as I wanted Mane in the past, as desperately as I wanted Perisic in the past, and I haven't got them. I've got one of them in Harry Maguire. It's one of those things for me where if I don't get them, I'm not going to be bitter and angry about it. I'm just going to be disappointed that I didn't get what I want. And that's you're allowed to be disappointed in what you want, but don't deflect that emotion onto anybody else, because that's just unfair, childish, and downright wrong. Watching from Kenya. Hello, Connor. That all the way over and down in Kenya. I think you're definitely over and down from where I am anyway. There we go. Let's do a few more of these comments. Do you think things will get toxic if we lose to Chelsea? Omar Khan, of course they will. And it will all be stirred up. It will all be stirred up by... Whoa, I nearly pulled my own camera off there. Sorry about that. It will be stirred up by the two Bob mob. The two Bob mob and the people that make money through being overtly negative. They want that to happen. And I don't care how much they deny it. I don't care how many games they go to. I don't care how many Man United shirts they own. I don't care how much of a die-hard fan they say they are. They want to lose to Chelsea. They want there to be this engulfed forest fire burning through Manchester United so that they can profit from it. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. You can tell by the way they put opinions out. They will be the people moaning about the stuff. They will moan about the stuff. They'll moan about his press conference on Friday and things that he says. They'll find something to moan about. They will moan about the starting lineup. They will moan about the substitutions. They will moan about every little thing. Every little thing. Because they want it to kick off. The two Bob mob. Love the show. We need a midfielder desperately. Matt, I agree with you completely. 100% need. 100% need a midfielder in the next 3 to 4 days. That's why there's going to be so much news. That's why there's going to be so much content. That's why there's going to be so many stories. Because you need it. The media know you need it. So they're going to throw that out. United fans, what's it say? United fans, the Europa League playoff draw is at 12:30. Chance for you to scout your opponents. See, that's a good little bit of banter, Luke. I like that. That's clever banter. The problem is, right, it's funny now. It ain't funny in 2 or 3 days' time again. But well done. That was brilliant. If I had one, I'd send you a gold star, son. 6th again for United. Yes, boys, lol. Okay, cool. Let's see what happens. Hi, Terry. From Sierra Leone, Freetown. Love your show. Brother, thank you very much. It's always a very humbling feeling to think people are watching me from all around the world. Crazy, but thank you. I appreciate it a lot. When is Maguire going for his medical? Maguire's medical's already happened, mate. Happened already. They weighed his head. He's all good. I can't wait to see him in a Man United shirt. I can't wait to see him boss Chelsea. He's going to boss... Do you know the best bit as well? And I don't care if this comes back to bite me in the backside. Copy the video and play it on the internet if it happens. Pulisic is going to play his first game. He's going to get shut down by AWB. And then if he does get past AWB, then Maguire is just going to boot him into the stadium. All right? Legally, of course, by winning the ball first. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. And you're going to have Anthony Martial through that middle. Oh, you're going to have Scotty McTominay running in midfield. Oh, it's going to be great. I'm a bit nervous, really. Oh, there you go. Terry, do you think United will focus on selling dead wood from Friday? Yes, of course, they can sell some of the dead wood to clubs abroad after the transfer window shuts. If they're going to get rid of Phil Jones or Smalling, I doubt they're going to go abroad. That would have to happen this week. That could happen by deadline day. One of them goes. Darmian can go after that, and of course Lukaku could still leave after if they don't sign a replacement for him, so that would be an interesting one. Listen, I appreciate everybody tuning in as always. Remember, as we said at the top of the video, please support us by downloading the Football Index app. If you want to get involved in the football stock market and potentially make yourself a nice bit of bunts, a nice bit of money, get it downloaded, use our promo code Football Terrace and our exclusive link in the description below. You do need to be over the age of 18 and, of course, reside in the UK. But until next time, take care of yourselves. God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.